We're about to lose one. Get the intruder.
Copy. We're almost there.
Security breach.
Attacking the area.
Security breach.
Shit, I've got movement. Where? Everywhere. Contact!
Yo, what's happening, everybody? Welcome back to some more Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Blacklist Spies vs. Mercs multiplayer action. This time, well, it's SvM Blacklist gameplay yet again. It's really what I've been spending most of my time with lately. Been having a great time in there, too. I've been playing the game much more than I was maybe about a month ago. I'm getting on much more often. Just, like I said, having a great time really does sum it up. Now, right here, starting things off, we're at the Cartel. I do love just... no matter which suit I'm wielding, often I like to step out left side of the car park, try and catch sight of the initial rush, moving its way to A. If I see a lot of guys jumping over there, then I'll type in A, let the team know that there's a bit of an assault moving in that general direction. Often if I see exact numbers, I'll put that in as well. Now, most of them got through pretty well concealed, whether they just managed to get by before I was actually able to step out on the location. You can see there were 3 guys in here, or whether they were cloaked when they made the run across and they were actually in my line of sight, who knows? I know that putting up fire at that range with this weapon, the ARX-160, isn't all that effective, You did see the 4th man who just kind of ducked in behind a little bit of cover, and I just let him go at that point. But there was a strong charge moving for A, and I did shut them down, one after the other, and the man that got closest up in my face and in my space, looking to do some slicing and dicing, was in, so he's the guy you really got to watch out for, the big performer on the other team this round, and in fact, I played a long session with him, and he was, pretty solid, a pretty solid competitor all around. Every round, for the most part, he was performing really nicely, So watch out for him if you're playing on PC and you run into the INSO 99. Now right here, you can see the smoke cloud going down. There was, kind of obvious that there would be some sort of beeline run made for the C sector after that botched attempt at A. And the Hitman, Ultimate, managed to pick it up. Now he made a really nice reposition. I really wasn't expecting him to be right around that, right in that door. You're looking to jam me up as I went through it. Now right here, 1 versus 343, put him down as he slices and dices on Jude. And now right here, where the hell did Archlord come from? Archlord James, man, I gave that guy, I got really lucky there because he had a couple of times, he had plenty of time, he had the time, the place, the space, the who, what, when, where, and how. He knew it all. He had it working for him, and he botched. He had plenty of time to grab my neck there, do some slicing and dicing. He just couldn't pull it off. But you know what? Where he failed, and so as I'm making a great track on him, he still managed the squirrely fucker, and so manages to avoid my fire, get through it all, and comes in and does some slicing and dicing on me. And that is why I said he's a guy you got to watch out for, because despite the fact that I really was tracking him there, he still managed to close the gap and put me down. Now, going back to kind of Hitman Ultimate, I mean, a really great position there. You really see the effectiveness of the VX gas. If you remember, I'd put 1 deep in the hallway. That's why, right near the top of the stairs, that's why I think perhaps he was forced to reposition down to the lower level and put up a door guard. But you really saw with that second VX gas where I thought he was still up on the upper level because of that smoke cloud that he had put down. You really see the effectiveness of that VX gas working both top and bottom level, and can be a great way to give, the position away of anybody who is looking to jam you up at the door, who's just kind of hiding around the corner there. Could be a good method for getting an early warning system and perhaps forcing them off of that position a little prematurely, so you don't get your neck got, Anyway, let's take a look at the gun. We've seen this plenty of times the past few episodes. I'm aware right now there is a little bit of activity here in C, and I'm going to actually call out for a little assistance here shortly, but it is the Elite Adrenaline Suit, RFD Vision, Flash Protection Visor, Armored Gloves, Pocket Pants, people, running shoes, frag grenades, and VX. And of course the ARX-160, it's outfitted with the red dot sight, the muzzle brake, the armor-piercing rounds, the weight balance, the match-grade trigger, and the accurized barrel. Now right there you see I do call out for some assistance at C, and this rarely ever happens, but look at this, the entire team rallying behind my plea for help, my plea for assistance. everybody floods the C sector, and there we go. We do flush the second man, 1 versus 343, out of his hidey hole there, as he was looking to get a little death from above, maybe a little prematurely, as I was still guarding that location, and we managed to put him down. There were a couple of guys over there. I mean, it wasn't wrong in calling out the charge for C. I really, but did it warrant 4 Mercs coming over there? Probably not. In the process, because of that call, it opens up a window of opportunity here in the A sector for the remaining spies, and I think it's Inso who's picked up this hack, so that's not a good thing. As I move for the window, I wanted to make a move for the window room. I'm kind of tied up here with Archlord James. I know that there are other guys out there that need to be watched out for. Hitman Ultimate can't be taken lightly. 1 versus 343, he can't be taken lightly either. He's got some skill, some abilities. Now right here, I'm having a really hard time tracking down the Hitman as he scrambles with 1 bar left. Actually made it much further than I expected him to. Almost got to safety as he goes running for his, I don't know, the big boss man on the other team. His overseer, Inso, who has the hack running. And not only does he have the hack running, but he is protecting it well as he does some slicing and dicing on my ass, despite the fact that I was getting the RFD pop-up. He stepped out really nicely on me and shanked me. He shanked me good. He spilled my blood. You can see the backup charge is still moving in there, and that's not a good sight as we see 2 skulls pop out. Just Mercs are hitting the floor all over the place. I do call it the window room, but I am going up against an intelligent, a smart player here, and he repositions wisely and looks to cut me off before I can make a new entry into. He had to figure that I'm going to make a mad dash for that window room and look to get a little bit of revenge and shut down this hack before he could get any deeper. He repositioned really nicely there, right at the top of the stairs, and kind of caught me napping despite the fact that I got the RFD pop-up one more time, Now right here, coming back to life, so we've lost 1. It's not the end of the world. There are 2 more to protect. 4 minutes left, and here we go, So it looks like everybody's shifting towards B. Again, skulls are popping up. Mercs are falling into pools of their own blood, and you did see the one man, I think it was Hitman Ultimate, trying to get in there. I did put him down, and there is a second man up there. I did hear the footsteps. I don't know if you all will hear it as clearly as I did there, because I do adjust the volumes, but having that, I don't know what it was, whether it was an Intel device, I think that's what it was, perhaps a drone. Something came in and beautifully highlighted 1 versus 343 as he has the hack running in here, and I made sure that he had to go the other way. I made sure I was going to push him back with that VX gas, and I take out the trophy system still set up in the area here. Now right there, Ultimate, or Hitman Ultimate, looking to come in, looking to get some revenge about how I did him the first time around, but again, he dies just kind of hanging around there as he tries to push forward, tries to get up there, and maybe get the ledge grab, maybe get upper tier and close the gap before I could fill him full of lead. But he failed doing so, and of course, we see 1 versus 343 making a very interesting, reposition there. Looks like he was going out of bounds and looking to do a little in and out work, and it just didn't pay off. Maybe jumped the gun on the reposition, not really sure. But it was certainly a worthy attempt to keep this hack alive. Just didn't pull it off. Now right here, underneath, you were watching that with any, I don't know, any amount of real focus and awareness. You saw just a great track being made on the Hitman Ultimate, and he bows out respectfully. He's had enough. He didn't like the way I did him in there, and off he goes, So it happens, and keep it, we've all done that, myself included. So there are just some times when you just feel like enough's enough, and so be respectful in the comments, certainly. Guys bowing out, I don't have a big problem with it. As long as it's not, if they don't do it every time you sit down and play against them, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, here we go. Things are looking pretty good. We managed to shut down that hack at a reasonable number. And, on the B side of things anyway. A's been sacrificed. That's still not too bad, especially there was some competition on the other team that needed to be watched out for, So I'm feeling pretty good right now. With only a couple of, we're just running through the 2-minute warning. So I'm feeling pretty good at this point in time. Now, as far as this kit goes, we've seen quite a bit of this gun lately, haven't we? As I like to, it just seems to be the way things have been going. I like this current build I have on the Adrenaline Junkie, whatever you want to call it, the Blitz build that I use here. Very much a running gun, a fast-paced style, where I'm looking to get right in there and sweep an area with some haste and some, I don't know, some purpose. a very deliberate fashion. But I think it's time for new guns, so that's what I'll give to all of you here. As far as recommendations go on this vid, for those of you that want to make them, make a recommendation for a gun build, not for a full loadout. The loadout's probably going to remain the same, but give me a gun, a weapon that you'd like to see in this loadout in particular. So fast pace, running gun, blitz style. You know, give me the full weapon rundown. It can be a shotgun, whatever the hell you want it to be. You know, shotgun would probably work quite well. If you can get something that I haven't done here on the channel before, for those of you that have been here long term, well, that's all the better, you know. But certainly toss some recommendations out there, and I'll see what I can do in future builds, because I'm really looking to replace this weapon soon. But I still want something in there that's really effective on the run and the gun, the blitz, the adrenaline style of play, right? So here we go. 30 seconds left. You can see Raj running in front of me, and that guy, he can tangle as well. You got to watch out for him. I think he came in a little bit late near the start of the game, but he was in and out of this sesh, I remember. And I have another video saved up where he's on the opposition. I may get to it in time, we'll see. I may get it up here on the channel in time, I guess is what I meant to say. Anyway, again, feeling pretty good right now as we're running into halftime here. And with, what is it, 135% has been sacrificed. Will we be able to best them? Well, you'll have to wait and see. Stick around and we'll get to it in time. And there we go, some big numbers. I certainly was the heavyweight on the team. 2 defense, 19 and 3. Right below me you can see Raj posting some good numbers as well. 1 defense for him, 9 and 5. The other 2 really struggling there against I don't know, against the 1 versus 343 Inso and Hitman combo. Archlord James, probably shouldn't discount him, but I think, you know, stacked up against the other 3 guys that were in there to start, I think he was probably the weakest, you know. And of course, I judge that in very, very much on our encounter in the C sector, where he had plenty of time. But I mean, I've done that, where I just couldn't seem to get the goddamn neck lined up, you know. Maybe I caught him a little bit off guard, and he just couldn't complete it. Anyway, I was really surprised to see a very little presence here in the A sector. You can see there's a bit of a disruptor. There's a little disruption in the area as we see it there in the distance. And of course, this right here, well, you know, there are a couple of guys that had made recommendations. Elijah wanted me to go with some I think they're called spider gloves. Spatial navigation gloves allow you to climb walls, ledges, and stuff like that a little bit faster, a little bit more fluidly. And of course, the run-in shoes, and both of those are currently in this build. Now, it's not to say that I won't revise this. Yeah, I've got some footage with this build. The other thing that was recommended was from Murder, who wanted the Elite Ghillie suit with the EMF goggles. Basically the design of the gloves and boots, etc. could be my choice. He wanted the PFS-12 with match grade rounds, focused on control, and having it silenced was really up to me. And I think for the most part you have a lot of that in this build. However, I have made some alterations to this weapon over time. Now I thought, let's start with the first aspect of it all, as you're going to see me here get put down pretty poorly. Well, just not on Enso's side, on my side. I played it poorly. He played it well. I was really expecting him to continue to push forward a little bit there as he moved into the room, but he held his ground. He sat back a little bit. He blinded me, and I jumped the gun a little prematurely, and it won't be the last time I do it against Enso here, and it won't be the last time that it costs me my life. We're going to see it a couple more times, and it's not going to be the last time that it does all that while I'm carrying the hack, as he gets the better of me and shuts me down there, and he will do it again and again, yes. But right now, let's try and focus on this loadout. Now, I thought we'll deal with the silencer first. No, I don't like being unsilenced, but I thought, you know what, if I'm running with these loud, goddamn, squeaky old boots, you know, if I'm running loud as it is, then I might as well just run loud. So I'll tell you, though, the spatial navigation are really nice. You know, the spider gloves, whatever you want to call them exactly. Now, right here, you can see I have the hack going again. Enso doing a little stutter step, trying to draw anybody out of the upper window. And, in fact, he draws me out from out of the dumpster, where perhaps I belong there. And from around the dumpster, as I go in, maybe a little bit too hastily for the neck. And what we saw, it cost me as he put me down. You know, I should have waited for him to... I really wasn't expecting that stutter step. Really threw me for a bit of a loop there. And again, fail. We're a few minutes in at this point. But as far as this loadout goes, yes, I really did like the spatial navigation gloves, the spider gloves. As far as the running shoes go, I'm not a big fan of the whole being too loud out there, you know. And if you don't play with headphones, you know, I can understand why you may think that the Whisper boots don't make a great difference. Now, the difference that the Whisper boots make is negligible, but it is there, you know, especially if you're on some of the louder materials, you know, or moving at full speed. It can be a little bit easier if you're just kind of creeping up behind somebody to get somebody's neck to get away with it, especially if you're going up against headphone users. And if you're not using headphones on a regular basis, well, you're missing out, I'll tell you. Because sound plays a much larger role in the gameplay, and you don't really hear it as well as I hear it when I'm playing the game live. You're not going to hear that in the videos because, again, I make alterations to the sound, etc., etc. But as far as the spatial navigation gloves go, a great recommendation from me, Elijah. Really enjoyed it. I like being able to pop up on these walls and make those little jumps like you saw right there from the lower level of the railing to the upper level just so quickly. Now right here, I'm not playing it all that well. I had the opportunity perhaps to get in and do a death from above, get somebody's neck there, and unfortunately, everybody does manage to breach the room without Hertzy doing anything to stop it. And you can see Raj charging in there, looking to take down 1 versus 343 as I put a little fire his way, and he goes to pursue. Inso, the man who quelled the threat, put down Jude, Raj in there, mixing things up with him as I toss the smoke grenade up onto the upper balcony and pick this hack up and keep it alive. And I wander into this room that had a trophy system. Now you can see this is in fact Inso. He's managed to eliminate Raj, you know, decimated the man. Brutalized him, and now he's tracking me, and he knows what's up. And so I guarantee you he knows what's up, and he's cursing right now. He's like, I need, you know, I'm sure he's thinking to himself, God damn it, I need somebody else in this area watching top and bottom with me, you know, so we can do this together. And I just keep repositioning. Now right there I almost botch it. I almost botched, and of course, some poor timing as I move up here, in and out the window, and then out the room as I track down 1 versus 343. It's a good thing I didn't hesitate there, and I just moved out for the neck. And you're going to see it again as I step out. I go up to the next level, and I've kind of made a poor choice as they are kind of swarming here. Luckily for me, Enso, his disruptor suit basically powered down, depleted at that point in time, and he was running around just maybe not as attentive as he should have been right there. I was really expecting him to probably get me at that point, but I do manage to get the slice and dice on him. Dying seconds of this hack, you can see there was a mine that went down, a man pushing in my way, 1 versus 343, with a second mine down as well, as I put down Alexander as well, stick him both, and I don't know how I managed to survive the second mine. You know, I must have just been inches, or not even inches, millimeters beyond its range, because I really was surprised to have survived that. Now, Jude calling out the C run, but I move immediately for B. I feel a little bit more comfortable working these corners and working the top and bottom levels over here. Unfortunately, I can't get into the position I want to, and already 2 guys are moving in, and a lot of mines are going down. God damn. Anybody with an overcharged suit was certainly salivating at that point in time, as there was going to be a pile of death. If I had had the overcharged suit, there would have been a pile of death at the top of that stairwell, you know, where all those mines had gone down. Now right here, playing it pretty well. I probably should have run all the way around the front of the building and come in the other door. Unfortunately, you know what, I saw an opportunity to come in and do a little slice with Dyson. Unfortunately, I didn't see the second grenade getting ready to be tossed as well. And he got a little lucky, Alexander, as I got his neck, but he basically pulled a page out of Gunnuts' playbook, kind of inadvertently, as he was looking to obviously get that grenade second level and deal with one of my teammates there, possibly Raj. But you know what? He shuts me down with a busted nut. Oh, all over me. God damn it. God damn it. And down I go. Now, my thoughts on this loadout, I'd like to get to it, but the action is continuing to move forward here as we're struggling. I think we've got the one terminal, but I don't think we've managed to pull in a full 35% on the second one yet. So that means, well, in this instance, we're still losing, and it's never a nice thing to see. I do love door jamming guys on that building, and even on this building at times. I'll play this building a little bit differently that we're looking at right now, but the one that I was posted up in, I love putting up the door guard, especially on my own hack. Unfortunately, it's never good when you're getting swarmed from both sides there. Somebody's going to get an angle on you. You don't have a corner to hide in. You don't have a pot to piss in. And you don't have a hope in hell of surviving that, the way I tried to continue to play it at that point. And I get put down as you see Raj coming in, doing some slicing and dicing, some quick slicing and dicing on Archlord James. Now we do see the second Merc moving into the area, and I get a smoke down. I was looking to try and toss that right onto his head, whoever the hell this is right here. But I don't know, maybe my hand was a little sweaty or something. It ended up just kind of slipping from my grasp, and I dropped it right at my foot instead. Now right here, so again you can see that instance where the disruptor suit blinded me a little bit. I made a little bit of a premature run. You know, he's a little bit, he does move through an area quite nicely, but he's also takes his time with it, a little methodical. He's patient, not overly patient, but patient enough where now he's caught me several times here where I've jumped the gun and run out on him just a little bit too early, and he's made me pay for it, you know? Made me pay for it. Anyway, Jude picks this hack up late game here, late stages of the game at this point. Minute 20 left. This is really going to be it. We need to take this beyond the 35% mark, and if we do, well, then we're good. We're good. As you can see, the Mercs are coming in strong. Now, you really do see right there the spatial navigation, the spider gloves, as they're called, really come into effect. I made a spectacular climb there. And then coming right out the other side, I put up a little smoke screen for any Merc that may still be down there in the area, kind of cut him off. Amazingly, I didn't like the sound of all that ACS action, but amazingly, I get in there, I put down 1 versus 343. Amazingly, Alexander didn't manage to put me down. And I get do a little double slice and dice. We're at the 30% mark. Raj picking up the slack where I had left it dangling. Puts down Enzo. Does a little slicing and dicing on him. We clear the area, and there we go. We're free and clear to carry this beyond the 35% mark. And the late game, the dying seconds, basically. Only 30 seconds left at this point. And we've done it. So we've secured victory. Now, my thoughts on this weapon. I wish I could have spent a little bit more time discussing it. I do like the loadout. It's been altered slightly. I think it's good to have maybe a loud build where you don't have the silencer. You get that extra little bit of power out of the weapon. Where you're running loud with the running shoes or some armored boots. And I think it's wise to play it like that. Now, this weapon in particular wasn't too bad. I'd almost recommend, now you did recommend Murda to say, go for control, build it for control. I actually built it for, I made a few alterations to it. And in fact, currently, as it stands, right now it's built for control. Okay, so it was match grade ammo. It was the hollow sight, the what is it? The weight balance, the tuned recoil buffer. Sorry, no, the match grade trigger and the tuned recoil buffer. But I'd almost say with this weapon, build it for accuracy. I've tried that. I'm trying to get a nice balance, swapping in and out the armor piercing rounds as well for the match grade rounds. Get a little bit of boost to power as well. And what you do is basically for accuracy, you go bolt blueprinting, you go accurized barrel, you go red dot sight, and if you go match grade, you're basically left 2 bars shy of a full bar of accuracy from having your accuracy mark maxed completely out. Now the other thing that this has all started to make me think is if you actually look at the various attachments, obviously different attachments should be having different effects on the weapon. I've been considering this for a little while, maybe a little bit more now with this current recommendation, as I'm trying to set this gun up to its so that it can yield kind of its maximum potential, so it can realize that maximum potential that this gun could have. Now, and there are different rundowns. When you think tuned recoil buffer, basically the rundown for the tuned recoil buffer is that it's going to cut down on the upward motion of the gun while it's on full auto or burst fire, while it's firing. Now, is that actually translated in the game? Is that actually what's being affected by putting on the tuned recoil buffer, or is it just some kind of, overall accuracy value, control value that's being altered, Or is it actually having the effect that it describes? Again, when you think about accuracy, if you go with the bolt blueprinting, basically what the bolt blueprinting says, I think this is the right attachment, the right modification that I'm describing here, but I think what it says is that it will increase, it will create tighter spreads across extended firing periods. So basically, you could fire the gun in maybe extended bursts and manage to maintain a tighter spread on your overall accuracy, right? So I'm wondering if that is how it actually affects the gun. Anybody who knows for sure 100%, certainly do pipe up in a comment. It will certainly be welcomed. And there we go. So, you know what? You're probably going to see a little more of this loadout. It's been altered slightly. I do appreciate the recommendations. I do like the build overall, between from Elijah's recommendations all the way to Murda's. And I don't mind running loud with this loadout in particular. However, I've made some changes as I try to really, find this I don't know, maybe I wouldn't say necessarily the perfect build, but something that really works well for me. And it's been a nice change up as I've focused so heavily in the past on running silent and maybe a little bit too stealthily at times. I like having this build to go to because it runs loud. But again, I'm not a big fan of the running shoes. I think if anything, I'm going with the most recent design. I have them as armored boots rather than the running shoes on the spy build. And I'm still trying to figure out what really works for me with this PFS 12. I've had some good success with it at times. Other times it feels like it's firing really sloppily, and it's just not doing the damage I'm hoping that it would. So I don't know. But other times with the exact same scenario against a different guy, it'll feel like it's just cutting him down. Like a hot knife through butter, or some jazz like that. Anyway, I've been rambling a bit too long here. Let's run down the numbers. As you can see, it was a really close game all the way down to the wire there. We needed that final assault to come in well in the C sector with that 30 seconds left. Managed to pick the hack up. It was a good team effort there, however, as the Mercs, and a good team effort by the Mercs as well. Just a little bit of bad luck for them at the top of the stairs really falls on Alexander with his ACS-12. Let me get in there and slice and dice on 1 versus 343, and then getting his neck as well. That was the difference maker in the C sector. Myself, this round, 2 hacks, 2 defense, 29 and 8. Right below me, Raj, big performer as well. 1 defense for him, 21 and 15. The other 2 guys, we'll leave them out of the commentary. Yes, we will not. We will never speak of it again. It was a bad round for the 2 guys at the bottom, but they were certainly in there mixing things up nonetheless. Down on the bottom level there, Inso, like I said, big player, guy that needed to be watched out for, had to be taken seriously out there, and could get you. Could get you when you least expected it. One hack for him, 4 defense, 29 and 10. And right below him, 1 versus 343, 1, 17 and 13. And Archlord suffered a little bit. Alexander came in late, never found his rhythm apparently. Well, he did a little bit. He got a couple of defense there with his ACS-12 ringing up. That's certainly an intimidating sound when you hear that beast of a shotgun firing as rapidly as it likes to. And of course, we did have Hitman Ultimate, who was in early on. That guy, I've played with him before, and he's given me problems in the past, but I guess he just felt like he wasn't digging the direction him and his team, they perhaps had a difference of opinions on how they wanted to play the game. Yes, this round in particular, as he bowed out a little bit early. Anyway, people, thanks for stopping by, tuning in, and checking this out. Always appreciate it when you do. Remember what I'm looking for recommendations, something to go into my Blitzkrieg, my adrenaline junkie loadout, something that is an effective, fast-paced kind of running gun style weapon. So I'll take those recommendations for the weapon only. I don't need the full kit though. And to the guys that did make the recommendations that showed up in this vid, appreciate it. Elijah and Murda, keep them coming. Keep them coming. Give me your thoughts. And until next time, all remember why it hurts. Later.